Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies. As we continue with part 9, Merlin the Magician, from Orders of the Quest The Holy Grail by Manly P. Hall. Merlin the Magician. Who was the mysterious Merlin, held prisoner in the house of air or mist, to finally vanish into the earth attended by 9 bards, and taking with him the 13 treasures of Britain? It is quite in line with modern policy that recent scholars, after reviewing the legends and fables which surround this magician, should seldomly conclude that he is entirely mythological. It never seems to occur to this learned gentry that myths may have secret meanings, and should be explained in the light of the religious and philosophies in which they originate. According to the most common account, Merlin was born of immaculate conception during the reign of Vortigern, king of Britain, who ruled in the 5th century AD. In a strange book entitled Merlin, surnamed Ambrosius, published anonymously in London in 1813. It is reported that he was conceived by the compression of a fantastical creature without a body. His mother was a royal virgin, daughter of King Demetrius. A similar account appears in that most curious work, Comte de Gabalis, which was first printed in 1684. Here it is stated that the father of Merlin was an elemental spirit of the order of the Sylphs, and his mother a Christian nun. The place of Merlin's birth is not known, but it is generally supposed to have been in England or Wales. Charles W. Heckethorn, however, says he was born on the island of Sina in Gaul, this being one of the last strongholds of the Druidic mysteries. Merlin the Magician. In this figure, Merlin is represented in the garb of a monk to emphasize his Christian baptism. In his lap is a book, on the open pages of which are the words, "The Red Dragon." Merlin was baptized hastily in order to preserve him against the occult circumstances of his own birth, but throughout life he combined in his person the humanity of his mother and the unearthly quality of his submundane father. While still a boy, Merlin was brought to the court of Vortigern, where he confounded the priestly astrologers and made several extraordinary predictions that later proved to be entirely accurate. From a Memorial of Monarchs, Uther Pendragon. During the reign of Aurelius Ambrose, who succeeded Vortigern, Merlin is said to have brought the mighty stones of Stonehenge from Ireland to the plains of Salisbury in a single night. This monument had originally been set up in Africa and had been converted to Ireland by unknown means at a remote time. Merlin delivered these stones in Wiltshire by a whirlwind and placed them as they now stand over the graves of British lords slain through treachery. Certainly this report cannot be taken literally, but if we understand by the circle of ancient stones the symbol of a lodge of Druid initiates, the legend immediately has meaning. The Romans did not invade Ireland, and the pagan mysteries were practiced there long after they had been destroyed in Britain. Merlin also served the next king, Uther Pendragon, whose name means the head of the dragon. He served Uther as counselor and magician through the 7 years of his reign, and by his enchantment made possible the birth of the hero king, Arthur, the Boar of Cornwall. Arthur was the son of Uther Pendragon and Igama, Duchess of Cornwall. Much is made of the fact that the earliest historical records of King Arthur contain none of the mystical elements with which we are now familiar. There is no mention of the Holy Grail, the Round Table, or the magic sword Caliburn or Excalibur, which was fashioned in the land of the fairies. But the early legends do say that Merlin the Magician was with Arthur at his court at Caerleon Onosc, guiding the young king with wise counsel. Some writers have attempted to solve the historical problems by assuming that both Merlin and Arthur were gods of an old mystery cult. In this vein, Luther Spence writes, "It is plain that Arthur, like Osiris, is the god of a mystical cult who must periodically take a journey through the underworld not only for the purpose of subduing its evil inhabitants, but of learning their secrets and passwords, in order that the souls of the just, the perfected initiates, will be enabled to journey through that plane unharmed. That Althor and Osiris are indeed figures originating in a common source must be remarkably clear to the student of the myth. Druidism is only the cult of Osiris in another form, and Althor seems to have a common origin with Asar or Osiris. Unfortunately, the facts are somewhat more complicated. The Osiris myth itself is but a fragment out of context, and can never be understood by those who assume that legends wander up and down the world willy-nilly, imposing themselves upon themselves in endless confusion. Certainly the Arthurian cycle is part of the initiate tradition, but the key to it lies not in distant lands, but in some deep hidden place within the structure of human consciousness. Merlin, like all those mysterious mythological sages, is the secret doctrine itself, born of heaven and earth and locked within a house of glass, the sphere of illusion. He is not some old Cymric demigod under a new name, but a personification of an order of learning. In all possibility, there was a historical Merlin, perhaps several old Welsh bards and soothsayers have been combined to form the legend. But the true life story of Merlin the man will never be known, for it was never recorded. The Merlin of the myth is the Adept, whose identity has been absorbed into the universal mystery of human regeneration. The Great Skull is personified in each of its initiates. This is why the heroes of all nations pass through the same experiences. There is only one experience that can lead to truth, and there is only one description appropriate to those who have accomplished the divine adventure. Of course, all esoteric biographies are perpetuated in symbolic form, for it is impossible to put into simple words those mysteries of the spirit that are not of this world. There is a secret legend that Merlin's invisible father moved through the ethereal atmosphere in the form of a serpent. The archdruids of Britain and Gaul were the winged serpents, and their most sacred symbol was the serpent's egg, a symbol of both the universe and the mystery school. The Immaculate Conception was the second birth from this philosophic egg, or the womb of the mysteries. The magician is the master of illusion and the oracle of nature. This priestly adept is the ruler over all the rulers of the world by divine right. In the case of Merlin, the adept brought the circle of the living stones to Salisbury, not the monolithic rocks that now strew its plain, but the Gorsedd, the throne of the revelation of the ancient ones of the earth. The Gorsedd of the Druids became the round table of King Arthur. There is no break in the mystical descent, for the young king takes the place of the old king. Long live the king! At first it seems that the mystical cauldron of Cymric gave place to the Grail, and that the old pagan mysteries faded away before the light of Christendom. But exactly the reverse was true. The ancient wisdom ensouled the new faith, and the Holy Grail became the cauldron of Cymric. Merlin sleeps in his glassy tomb like the mysterious Father CRC of the Rosy Cross, who is said to lie quickening in a womb of crystal. The dying King Arthur floats away to Avalon in a ship of glass. Each will return to life in his proper time, for he is not dead but sleeping. The sleeping hero is the adept self, locked within the mortal form of nature, a form which appears to reveal everything and at the same time conceals everything. We look about us and nothing seems hidden, but so little is understood. We are all prisoners in a crystal sphere. The universe itself is the geometrical vault, the many-sided tomb in which lies buried the hero of the world, awaiting the resurrection. In the Druidic rites of initiation, the candidate was placed in a coffin as one dead, and after 3 degrees, symbolically days, he was restored to life and accepted into the communion of the reborn ones, the initiates. According to Caesar, the Druids would never commit to writing their secret knowledge about the universe and its laws. It was not necessary, for they perpetuated their esoteric doctrines through the songs and poets of their bards. Whoever can read or write the myth of Merlin will understand the hidden place foursquare in the island of the Strong Door. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.